1, 2, 3, 4.
Bet I'll fly high, high. See no limit in the sky. I'll fly away, I'll fly so far. I'm aiming beyond the stars. Bet I'll fly high, high. No limitation, I can't be no imitation. Real McCoy, hard hits, they callin' flagrants on your boy. So defensive and dismissive, I don't care, man, fuck them all. I will burn down all these bridges, swear I got no time for y'all. Can I live? Hit the frequency, I know that you were feeling me. I've been in the game, you see, I'm Kobe B at 33. Still go hard, popping off, I'm not even hearing y'all. I just do my do-si-do, shake my ass and get applause. Hear me flow, it's evident to you, I ain't no Joe Schmo. I feel more like Russell Crowe. Give y'all what you came for. Give my all, talking heads, shoulders, knees, and toes. Cold versus rocking shows. Man, that's just the way it goes. I don't care if I impose. Jermaine is an asshole. Yeah, I'm bucking on the weed like I'm a little rascal. Fuck your fucking passcode. I'm getting some access. Love the music, so I'll do what I do to my last breath. Bet I'll...
What up, y'all? It's your boy, Jermaine Event, Babylon 5 Podcast. Welcome back. Episode 16. Episode 16. If 16 ain't enough. Damn, that was supposed to be the intro. That was supposed to be the intro. I forgot. I'm going to give you guys the social medias real quick. It's going to be an all over the place kind of episode. But here's the social media. If you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, it's at Babylon 5 Pod. Excuse me. If you want to follow my personal Twitter, it's at my name's Jermaine. That's Jermaine, if you guys don't know. Just in case you guys are randomly, just, if you didn't know me personally and you're listening to it, you stumbled upon this podcast, you're like, this guy's pretty fucking cool. But I can't find this Jermaine with a G. That's because I spell it the right way. That's how it's spelled. Anywho, if you want to email your boy for whatever reason, the email address is babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if you can subscribe. I've been saying that and not sure about it. I don't think you can subscribe. But follow the podcast, if you will. You can listen to it, even like on that website also, on babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to the podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can play 2K with your boy on Xbox if you add me at SaucedBoss414. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really been playing. I mean, I've been playing 2K. I went back to simulating franchises. And then I was realizing again, like, that's one aspect to this game of 2K that they really fucked up on. I don't know. Like, I knew like when I was younger, people who would simulate franchises. I just tried to build a successful team throughout 80 years or whatever. I usually don't make the 80. I probably go to the 20. After like the younger cats on my squad retire, I pretty much like stop. Like if like Giannis and all them people, Ja Morant, if all these people are retired, then I'm pretty much done with that simulation. But in this year's 2K, they have it. They kind of fucked it up because you can switch and make your own roster. You can go through there and make your own roster. But what you can't do is import that roster into the franchise mode that you're starting. So they need to fix that. Also, when you simulate the franchise, no matter how your team is performing, your team could be undefeated, like 20-0. But every single day that passes, the team chemistry loses a point, no matter how your team is performing. So you can't really get into a groove. What it was with the older games is as the team, like if you make a trade of like a starting player, and let's say your chemistry is at 99% team chemistry, and you trade a starting player for whatever reason, your team chemistry might drop down to like 76%, and you're not going to perform as well. You know what I'm saying? But then over time, if you guys are winning, just like practicing together throughout the years, like mainly practicing also would increase team chemistry. Just being together would increase team chemistry, and the team would start to perform better than a team that has lower chemistry. You understand? That makes a lot of sense. But with this game in particular, they have it messed up where it just decreases with every passing day, no matter what happens. If the team wins, then it increases a bit, but then it also decreases after like 1 point after that game. And then if you lose a game, then you decrease pretty much twice as much. So it's pretty janky. It's pretty fake. And then I'm looking at Luka. Before all the reports came out, I was like simulating franchise. I'm like, how is Luka 99 already? It's only like the second year in the simulation. And then I saw that they bumped him up to a 96. He's a monster. He's a monster. And I still got Ja Morant. Because when I play 2K, if I'm simulating franchises, I would usually do the Bucks and try to get the Bucks as many championships as they can get. But now, like, they're so good, I don't need to. It's like unfair to simulate a franchise with the Bucks. I think I did it like on last year's 2K after last season, and then I signed like Julius Randle, and then we won like 3 straight championships with Giannis and Julius Randle. But I think on last year's game, Giannis was listed as a small forward, so you just had that. I had it where Middleton was the shooting guard. You had Bledsoe. Well, actually, I traded Bledsoe for DeJounte Murray also because DeJounte Murray was a beast. He was injured for a year, so I'm like, people don't even know about DeJounte. This is me thinking people need to make these moves for certain players. It's just, I don't know, certain trades, certain pickups. Niggas didn't sign Melo. Certain things happen, and I just don't understand. And I'm like, yo, this is common sense. Remember when Christian Wood played for the Bucks? Like, the whole Bucks cheer squad was talking about this guy, Christian Wood, for like years before we signed him. Talking about how we need to sign this guy. Then we signed him. He played good summer league. We're like, yo, what's going on? Why they're not playing him? They put him in the G League. He's playing amazing. Then they just cut him. And then he started balling for Charlotte like right away. And it was like, dude, I don't understand these moves. Why aren't you giving this man any clock? He's clearly a baller. Yeah, so I traded. But so this year I don't play with the Bucks if I'm going to simulate franchises. That's one of the teams that's already pretty set. They usually win as I'm simulating franchises. Like throughout the year, they win. Giannis wins quite a few. It'll usually go between like Giannis and the Bucks, the Lakers for a little bit, as long as LeBron James hasn't retired yet, and then the Rockets. The Rockets are pretty dope as the years progress, it seems like. I guess that makes sense. In a game setting, in a simulation where you have Russell Westbrook, where you have James Harden, 2 MVPs, one averages a triple-double, and that's like your secondary player, I guess it makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So I use like Ja Morant. I use the Grizzlies. I like Ja Morant. I think he's going to be one of the better, if not the best point guard I say in 10 years, he's going to be the top point guard. I mean, I don't know. What position does Luka necessarily play? I think he plays small forward. I think he was like a point guard last year. I think he's small forward now. But I think, as from what I can see right now, because I don't even really think Ben Simmons is a legit point guard. That's bullshit. He's like, what is he, like 6'8", 6'10"? He's like 6'10". But he just can't shoot. I don't know what the deal is. He shouldn't play that position. I'm on that 2K rant. Because I said you guys could play 2K with me, but I've been pretty upset with 2K, you know. I just since I maxed out that character, I'm just playing another year. I left the Bucks, playing with the Grizzlies, you know. And it's just boring. I'm just bored with the game again. So, yeah, I don't know. If you niggas add me, maybe I'll play. Somebody add me. Add your boy. Let's play a game. Let's see if you niggas know how to play defense. Other day it was brought to my attention that an old friend of mine Wakise Daxtator. I think that's how it is pronounced. Passed away, if you will. Committed suicide. If I would, like that's what when I saw the article or the obituary, I assumed that's what it was, and then I read it, and it said he found peace on Tuesday, and I'm like, that sounds like suicide or like something, you know. And Kisei, you know, rest in peace to that man. He reminded me a lot of me. He was younger than me. He's probably I think he's about 3 years younger than me, but I don't. He reminded like in personality, he reminded me a lot of myself. Definitely like around that age. He was about 27. Man, I was in some dark times. I talked about here, if you guys remember, like just having these moments where I'd just be on a high, feeling so good, then it'd just be like adrenaline dump or something, and then I just would get into those depressive funks or whatever. But like I don't know, around the time I was like 27, I remember like I was starting to get way more. I was starting to drink a little more. I was starting to just I don't know, just feeling way more down. And then like just naturally from being drunk, I was like, you know, I look back at it now as like reaching out to people, but I was like, man, I was pretty fed up with everything at this point. I was like over everything. And I would talk to people about this, just about how I was feeling. I would just like, usually I keep it all inside, but I would just like speak to people. And like, honestly, people's reactions to what I was saying and their response is a lot of things of how much they care. But usually, and it was interesting of how many people had also felt that same way. A lot of people that I was talking to were all dealing with the same thing. We just don't talk to each other about it. And I could see that in Kisei. And I didn't talk to him about it. I didn't talk to a lot of people about it. Rest in peace to Kisei. Yeah. Rest in peace, man. I was gonna, you know, he reminded me. I just want to talk a little more about Kisei. I just remember, cause he just like when I met him, I didn't know him too well. You know what I'm saying? But he was a genuine dude. He felt when I met him, the few times when I've hung out with him, I felt like, I just saw a lot of myself in the kid. You know, he was a lot like me. But I'd say he did a little more drinking than I did because I think he was going. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, he was a wrestling fan like me, and I was just meaning to reach out to him. There's new wrestling league, AEW. I was meaning to reach out to him. I said to him last year that we should have gotten, or the year before last year, that we should have gotten up, and or maybe it was last year. We should have gotten up for like WrestleMania or something. We should have like hung out, but I didn't think about it until the day of. But now it must have been 2 years ago because like now I don't really watch it that much. Like I have like YouTube podcasts or whatever that I've been subscribed to that I'll see like headlines on it, but I don't really watch it. So like must have been like 2 years ago, but. Nah, man, he was a cool kid, reminding me of myself. It's real sad how things could turn out. But, like, honestly, it's insane because I wanted to talk about, like, this subject, like, a few weeks ago, but I didn't because I was like, that's just a weird dark turn to take the podcast. But it's like, when I see that, like, a friend of mine or something, if anyone has committed suicide, then I'm like, I'm happy for those people. You know, that obituary says he found peace. I see these people were hurting. I've been there. I know how it can feel like it's too much. It feels like you're fucking drowning. You know, it can feel like you're fucking drowning. So I'm happy for them. They couldn't handle it. So I'm happy that they can finally be unburdened. I don't. If whatever he was dealing with was too much, he couldn't take it. I'm happy for him that that he is unburdened if he feels such. I don't know if unburdened or burdens should be the word I'm using at all. I don't know. Rest in peace, Kisei. Let's move on. Watchmen. The show Watchmen. We're going to move on to Watchmen. I was telling you fools last week. I was telling you niggas last week. They kept mentioning this guy, Dr. Manhattan. And I was like, but you don't, like, he's not in the series. Like, he's not in the show. And I was like, except for the, like, small clip where, like, he's, like, a tiny person in the corner of the screen in, like, the first episode. And then it cuts to Angela Abar. I don't know if I said that part because it didn't seem significant at the time. But then, spoiler alert, last week they just revealed that Dr. Manhattan had been there the entire fucking show pretending to be a human being the whole fucking time. Spoiler alert. He was, what's it, Cal Abar, Angela Abar, or what was it? His last name couldn't have been Abar. Maybe it was. I don't know. Who knows? His name was Cal, but yeah. There was that one point of the episode last week where this one lady who does a lot of work with like memory loss and shit like that. She's like, your husband, Cal, full memory loss. That almost never happens, only in movies. And at that point, I was like, holy shit, her husband is Dr. Manhattan. I knew it. And then she went home, bashed that nigga's brains in, pulled out some device out of his skull, and was like, hey, baby, we're in trouble. This show is crazy. I saw an article that said it's a word-of-mouth hit. Over 1 million people watched the episode last week. Like, I guess it's a slow build on it. I've been trying to tell people about it. I was telling my wife, I set a trap at work. I just, like, put the poster of Watchmen. Like, I had it on my phone, and I just, like, set it on the table while I was at work just to see if somebody would see it and say something. And right away, somebody was like, dude, you watched that show? You know, because I just wanted to talk about it, you know. I just wanted to talk about it. It's a pretty good show. I can't wait for tonight. It's going to be a fantastic episode, I'm sure. The preview looked pretty cool. The wife and I are talking about watching the movie. We've never seen the movie. But now I'm just completely interested in the whole thing. I just want to dig into the whole Watchmen. Maybe I'll start reading some of the graphic novels. I did that with The Walking Dead, which is one of the worst series ever written. I could go on for days about how much I hate things like The Walking Dead, Harry Potter. Let's not go. I just like I don't know, plot holes, and it'll just dig at me. I'll see those plot holes and I'll be like, nah, bruh, it's not sliding. I'm not letting that slide. My brother. My brother. I'm not letting it slide this time. I just see them plot holes. I just don't understand how. I saw an article that said J.K. Rowling became one of the first billionaires to lose her billionaire status through charity work. And it's like, she became a billionaire off of one of what is arguably the most poorly written stories ever. Ever, my guy. It's more poorly written than the Bible. It's poorly written, ladies and gentlemen. Poorly written. Just, what's going on here? With all these plot holes. Here's your plot. And these are all the holes. Just falling right through there. I don't even want to talk too much on Watchmen. I just would suggest that if you are hearing my voice, check out Watchmen. Go ahead. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope show. Over 1 million people watched it last week because, like, word of mouth. It's pretty fucking entertaining. And like now I felt bad that I even like talked as much as I did about it last week, and I did just spoil it right now, and that's as much as I want to go because it's really good, and you guys should experience this a few times. As I was saying, I like rewatched the series. Like after the 4th episode came out, I was like, hold up, and I had to go rewatch it again. And once the series is, I think there's one more episode after that. After this one this week. There's one more episode for the season, and then I'm going to rewatch the whole series again because it's that pretty amazing. Something pretty tragic happened to me the other day, yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. My wife, after like this entire time that we've been together, we went to Chicago together. Around the time we started dating, we went to comedy clubs, and I was just checking out. This is like right before I did stand up for the first time, and I was like maybe gonna try it out in Chicago just to check it out. And I just went and seen how the scene went and whatever, and it was kind of okay because then I got the confidence that I could do it because I was like pretty much everybody that went up there was terrible, So I was like, well, what the fuck was I worried about? Like none of these people are good. And then I did a pretty good job. Like right after that. But anywho, so let's get serious here. My wife revealed to me yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, after all this time of me believing one way, it was revealed to me that my wife is in no way a fan of Maroon 5. Not even the first album. And it's because for me, Songs About Jane is a classic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pop classic. That's not an argument, okay? Songs About Jane is a fantastic album. I'm not sure what the second album was called after that, if that was the second album or third. I don't know. For me, Songs About Jane was the first album, and then they had that, I think it was that give me something to believe in, 'cause I don't believe in you anymore. That shit's fire, low-key now. I don't know what that album's called. But, ladies and gentlemen, my wife revealed to me that she is not and never was a fan of Maroon 5. And I thought we were going to raise our children on Maroon 5. I thought we were going to be a Maroon 5 family. I feel like, Adam Levine works really hard. You know what I'm saying? He works really hard to give us these great tunes. Phenomenal singer. Gateway to the heavens. If you are a pop singer, you got to go through Adam. Isn't that show, The Voice? You got to go through Adam. He decides who can sing and who can't. And I thought we were a Maroon 5 family. And it really, like, not even the first album? Hold on. Are y'all with me right now? Songs About Jane. Can you talk to me? Can I get an amen? No, I don't need an amen. So like, what's Maroon 5? What was on that album? Songs About Jane. Let's look at the discography. Yeah, Songs About Jane is the first album, and then the next album was It Won't Be Soon, Before Too Long. And that's got makes me wonder. Wake Up Call, got another one in my bed. That song, Maroon 5 is cold. I don't know, y'all. You gotta like to not be into Maroon 5. I feel like you gotta like put up a front, like not put up a front, but you gotta put up an effort in order to not enjoy these amazing tunes that are flowing through your ears. You can feel it in your body, and it gives you the moves like Jagger. You know what I'm saying? Gives you the moves like Jagger. All right, let's go to the classic pop album, Harder to Breathe. Is there anyone out there? Because it's getting harder and harder to breathe. What you were doing, you're screwing things up inside my head. You should know better. You never listened to what I said. Grabbing your pillow and writhing in a naked sweat. Hoping somebody someday will do you like I did. Because when it gets cold outside and you got nobody to love, you'll under me. Anywho, I fucking love that song. Harder to Breathe by Maroon 5. First track. Fire ass track. I give it out of 5. A 5. This Love, clearly a 5 out of 5. Shiver, 6 out of 5. That's my jam. She Will Be Loved, let's be real, 10 out of 5. Let's be real here. She Will Be Loved. Beauty queen of only 18. She classic. I thought we were a Maroon 5 family, ladies and gentlemen. My wife revealed to me that we are not a Maroon 5 family. I guess this isn't a classic album. I can't remember how Tangled goes. I can't remember how the Sun goes. I can't remember how Must Get Out goes. But Sunday morning, my nigga. Get out of here, act like you don't know about Sunday morning. Sunday morning, rain is falling. Get the fuck out of here. But track 9, Secret, is probably the best song on the album. It's got that slow build of just instrumental. And then just watch the sunrise, say your goodbye. Did I do that as an intro? I might have done that as an intro. It's probably the best song on here. There's more songs. I think they're like live songs. Like Not Coming Home. I think those are live songs, which I didn't really care for. I hate when people put live tracks on the album. Like when Kendrick dropped that album, To Pimp a Butterfly, I think it was, that had I on it, instead of putting the song version of it that he released originally, the single, he put a live version of it on there. And I was like, I wasn't feeling the whole album after that. I wasn't feeling the whole fucking album. I thought we were a Maroon 5 family, ladies and gentlemen. But my wife revealed to me that she's never been a fan. And I don't know. You know, it really makes me like, do I know this woman? I thought we were a Maroon 5 family. You know what my wife told me the other day, which I didn't know? So, when I was younger, I hung out with this kid, Eric, and he put me on to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he would explain to me how all their songs were about partying and doing cocaine and yada, yada, yada. But my wife was telling me, like, nah, this song is about suicide here and yada, yada, yada. Because it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, my wife and I are a Chili Peppers family. Maybe I can weasel us into a Weezer family. But right now, we're a Chili Pepper family. And my wife is like, no, this song is about suicide. And I'm like, no, it was explained to me that pretty much most of these songs were all about doing cocaine and things like that. And all my understandings couldn't have been more wrong. I'm going to genius.com and reading up on all these songs. And that Eric would tell me were all about doing cocaine, but they were not. It's just his understanding of them all, his misunderstanding of them all. But it really made me look at songs from a different perspective. Sorry about that. I just and I compared, and I thought it was funny because back in the day when I would certain songs, I had a song called My Name's Jermaine. A lot of people would talk to me about how they like to listen to that song before they would listen to it to pregame too. My Name's Jermaine. They thought of it as a party song. They love getting fucked up to it. And I always was weirded out by that when people say that to me because that song is my, like I was thinking like that I had a crazy drinking problem. So I was like, this is like if I ever have the balls to go to like an AA meeting and this is what I would say. Like, my name's Jermaine. I am an alcoholic, a wino, a lush, what else you want to call it. You know, but people would tell me, "Oh, I love that song. I love like to drink it I love to put it on when I'm pre-gaming and blah, blah." And I'm just like, "No, you shouldn't want to put that song on when you're pre-gaming because this is about like having a drinking problem." But I misunderstood it, and they misunderstood it, and I misunderstood through just my own naivety and listening to people misunderstood the Chili Peppers, a lot of their material, and it gave me a new understanding. My wife put me on to the real. So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're not a Maroon 5 family, unfortunately. But we'll be a Chili Peppers family, my nigga. We gonna be a Chili Peppers family. The other day, the wife and I, we went to Krampus Shot. Krampus Shot? Krampus Shot? I think Krampus Shot. It's like a Krampus festival. She's super into Krampus. I think it's some like thing, some devilish creature that comes and kidnaps children, lures them in with bells, kidnaps the children. It was crazy because while we're watching the parade of these Krampuses and angels and Santas and things like that, and demons and shit, like devil creatures, like, because they all got bells on them, that's how they lure the kids in. There's like this little boy, might be like 1 year old, might be younger, he's tiny, little tiny guy, but he can walk. And there's like a gap in the parade, and he just starts walking off from his parents to follow, and they're calling him back. He looks back for a second, but he's fucking going. He's following the parade. They've lured him in with the bells. That was insane. We was there, kicking it. Had a cup of Glühwein. It's like some warm German wine. I just came for good times, good vibes, right occasion we will imbibe. You know, we just had one glass of those drinks, glow wines. It's pretty cool. They did a little dance around the fire. You know, can't have a Caucasian get together without a bonfire. They had a fire. We did some pictures with these niggas. Niggas was dancing, doing their thing. We ain't had that festival in the hood. We ain't have that festival in the streets. I was thinking, like, you couldn't have no demonic ass festival in the projects. Them niggas are religious. Niggas is religious. So if you even tried to have that kind of festival in the PJs, it would not go over too well. I don't think so. But it was pretty cool. I like to see how the other side lives. Nah, just like, it's interesting because like, it's just that like, I guess it's a German thing. It's just what Germans get into. And I guess it's all the cultures. I like to just see what other people get into, you know. I like to travel. I like to do whatever I can. From here and there. I didn't talk about last week? I didn't even talk anything about Thanksgiving. I was like, that's crazy. I was thinking about it. Like, I didn't even mention Thanksgiving. Was that last week or the week before that? I don't know. I think it was last week. I didn't mention Thanksgiving. Went to my wife's family's, ate some food, did the thing, you know. Mom's-in-law makes bomb-ass pie. She made pie there. Made pie for me for my birthday. Shout out to mom's-in-law. So we watched Mrs. Doubtfire, and this is where I find these plot holes. I've never seen that movie before, right? It was pretty popular. Never seen it. And apparently that's like their tradition. Every Thanksgiving they get together and they watch Mrs. Doubtfire. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, he's a voice actor. And I'm like, unless he's like contracted through like some baller ass shit, like maybe he's the voice of Vegeta or some shit, that doesn't seem too lucrative. So then he gets fired. All right. He goes home, wilding out with his kids. Wife comes home from her interior design job at the firm downtown. That doesn't sound too lucrative. But it's a fire ass, like mansion-esque, little Cosby show ass house. I don't know how they paying for it. But she comes home, sees this nigga wilding. Nigga lost his job. Instantly wants a divorce. The very next day, essentially. It's like a day. This nigga lives... He's already moved out, got a fully furnished apartment down the street. Like, fully furnished apartment down the road. I'm like, huh? I'm like, how did he already move out of one? I'm like, whoa, she wanted a divorce, and he's already moved out the next day into a fully furnished. They're like, oh, well, just don't think about it. I'm like, whoa, they're moving pretty fast here. He just lost his job. And you just kicked him out? And he just got a fully furnished apartment? And he was a voiceover actor? And is now unemployed? And is now purchasing... Well, no, so my wife likes to point out. So he's wearing these masks. Because at first, like, before they're doing on the mask and they're planning out his disguise, I'm like, yo, do they not, like, recognize that this is their father dressed like a woman? It's like, oh, they put a mask on him. And for like certain Halloween masks, I've looked, they got like the Night King or just like random masks. You can get like an old lady mask. That's like $6,000, right? But my wife's like, yo, his brother's making it. And I'm like, yeah, but like back in those days, it probably like the material to make it would have been pretty expensive. Like, I'm watching this mask get ran over by a truck. It's like, oh, our brother just makes another one. I'm like, dude, that would have been pretty expensive. That whole get-up would have been pretty expensive for his brother to just be like, oh, just take it. Just take it and go get your kids back. Like, I don't know. It's just, here's your plot, and these are the holes. Look at all these holes. And that's where I came away with from in Mrs. Doubtfire. Whole lot of plot holes. Miss Lady just came home and decided to divorce her husband one day, and is about to step out with James Bond the next day already. Lady, chill out. You stepping out with James Bond? Bitch, I come home, Idris Elba is in my house with my kids the next day? Chill out. I just lost my job. And now 007 is in my crib with my wife and my kids. What is going on? Here's your plot, and here are all the holes. Look at all these holes. Digging up those holes. Digging up those holes. Oh. There's no plot holes in holes. There's no plot holes at all. What else happened? We're gonna move on from Mrs. Doubtfire. We didn't finish the movie, or I'd have some more. We left before the movie ended. I didn't finish it, so maybe I'll finish it on my own time, and I'll get back to you with a report of how it ends. But last I checked, he lost his job. His wife kicked him out, and then she was hanging out with fucking James Bond the next day. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz 2 in Abu Dhabi happened yesterday. It was interesting because all the reports leading up to the fight were that Andy Ruiz lost a ton of weight leading up to the fight, and then comes to weigh-ins and he's actually 30 pounds heavier than he was in the first fight. Anthony Joshua was actually like maybe 20 some pounds lighter than what he was in the first fight. So we go through like first 7 rounds and Joshua's just dancing around him. He's just so much faster than him. He's just outboxing him. And I'm on Twitter and everybody's saying like how boring of a style it is and yada, yada, yada. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking like, yo, he would get knocked out by this person if he boxes like in that way. This way is not, and it's not, I don't know, it just wasn't entertaining to me. But at the same time, my favorite boxer is Floyd Mayweather. You know what he did? What Anthony Joshua did in that ring? He fought just like Floyd Mayweather. He said after the fight, he was like, a lot of people forget that the main thing in this sport is to hit and not get hit. It's to hit and not get hit. He went in there and fought like Floyd. Can he do that against Deontay Wilder for 12 rounds? I don't know. He got knocked out once by Ruiz. Ruiz may have won like 2 rounds in that fight. But if you win 2 out of 12 unanimously, you lose that fight. Yeah. Ruiz kept throwing these punches to the back of the head. And after like the third one, I reacted and somehow magically the ref started to react to it too. And like got in Ruiz's face, was like, no more of this. Like, stop with the fucking donkey punches to the back of the head. It's illegal. I don't know why, but I don't know why I'm always surprised by humans. But when I see people, like when I'm watching MMA and like if someone's on the ground and someone knees that grounded opponent, which is super illegal, I'm just like, how dare they? How dare they do something so dirty? Like I always find it like as the foulest thing that anybody could ever fucking do. How dare they? So when I'm watching these fucking illegal punches, I think maybe after the 7th Ruiz even swung well after the bell stopped. He swung through all his strength in this punch. And Joshua moved out of the way of it, but it was well after the bell. But Ruiz was so frustrated at that point because he couldn't land anything on him. He was going for these dirty shots. That really, really bothered me. Because if anything, I felt like this is a recurring theme of the weekend. I felt like Ruiz was the good guy coming into it. He shocked the world by winning. Nobody expected him to do that. And then now he's doing this dirty shit, like blatantly. Now you're making yourself look like the bad guy. After the fight, he's like, I want a third fight. Who wants a third fight? If we get the third fight, I'll come back in the best shape of my life. Why didn't you take this fight seriously? If you came in the best shape of your life in this fight and you beat Joshua twice, your name would have been up there. You would have been fighting like the winner of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder next. But you didn't take this seriously. Riding around your Rolls Royce, that was the big report. Like, oh, he's buying all these things. And then you got fucking heavier. You came in like a lot fatter than you were in the first fight when you took it on short notice. And now you had 3 months to prepare, and you came in heavier. You came in worse shape than the first time. So, like, you don't deserve a third fight. I mean, maybe you were the champion, so that's the only thing that would warrant a rematch. But it doesn't look to me like you deserve a rematch. You didn't take it seriously. I'm excited to see I'm excited to see the Wilder-Fury fight. I think Fury's going to take that. And then I guess one of those guys is still going to fight Joshua because Joshua's the champion. If you want to unify the world titles, then yeah, whoever wins that fight has to fight Joshua. So, looking forward to that. Can Joshua, I think I think Fury's going to beat Wilder. And then if Wilder and Joshua fight, if they box, I think that's going to be a fantastic boxing match. I think it'd be a way more entertaining boxing match than Joshua versus Wilder because Wilder doesn't box. And what I saw from Joshua, the way he was just trying not to get hit and move around, and that's fucking Tyson Fury with his herky-jerky shit and just move, that would be a fucking chess match, actually. And now that I see that Joshua sees how it's just not easy, it's not going to come easy for him. He's got to work for it. He's got a whole new dedication to it. I think that would be a fantastic boxing match, and I hope that's how it turns out. I really hope that's the way it shakes for you boys. I was watching, there's two heavyweights fighting UFC. Ben Rothwell fought Stefan Struve, 6'11" and a half UFC fighter. That's how tall this nigga is. But twice did Ben Rothwell from Kenosha kick this nigga in the nuts, bruh. He kicked this nigga in the nuts. It's like, come on, bruh. So, after the second kick, like, it took Struve forever to get up after the first kick. And after the second kick, it's like, yo, this is probably going to just end in a no contest. Referee Dan Margliotta tried to cover up his microphone, but it is very audible that he says to Struve, you may as well just continue. You're winning the first 2 rounds anyway, and I'm going to take a point. So you may as well just finish. And there was maybe about a minute left in the round. Struve, shakes his head and is like, all right, and he stands up. They take the point away from Rothwell, start the fight. Rothwell charges at Struve, fucking just hits him with a barrage of strikes. And before the round is over, Stephen Struve is stopped. So he went from a no contest to a loss on his record, which significantly affects his pay, his negotiation rights for another contract, all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? And it was caught through the mic of him being convinced, even after being kicked in the nether regions. Got kicked in the balls twice, and he most likely shouldn't have continued, but he got convinced by the ref to continue, and then was immediately stopped. That's pretty controversial, I'd say. Dan should not have tried to convince that fighter to continue for the sake of anyone. That fighter just got, men, if you're listening, jabronis, 2 nut shots, bruh? You should have DQ'd that man right there. It shouldn't have been a no contest. It should have been disqualification, bruh. And it's even if you're wearing a cup. So even when I've done jiu-jitsu, there's been points where when I'm rolling, I wear a cup. But as we're moving, we're doing our thing, my cup moves. And then I get put in the wrong position. Maybe a knee gets some pressure gets put into the area where that cup should be perfectly in place, but it's not. There's just a testicle right there in the middle of it. And it gets smashed, ladies and gentlemen. But through jiu-jitsu, I've learned to fight through the pain. But if you're catching a 6'4" nigga throwing 6'4", 300 pounds or whatever, 250, throwing full force, 2 kicks to your balls, my brother, you should have stopped that fight. But he kept going. He got convinced to keep going, and he got stopped. And that was some bullshit. Main event. That was the co-main. I think that was the. It was the fight before the co-main event. Shout out to Stefan Struve. I didn't know that the nigga was from Holland. Ik spreek in Dutch Netherlands. And the main event was Alistair Overeem versus Jarinzo Rozenstruik. And them niggas is Dutch. So I was like, that's cool. That's cool. Um, that's good. Um, any this nigga Rosenstruck, he was pretty much losing that fight. Which I kind of expected because Overeem's a legend. People were like, oh, he's got a weak chin. He's been knocked out a lot. And yeah, but he's a veteran. He's got over like 60 fights, 60 professional fights. Had like over 100 kickboxing fights before he moved over to MMA. He's just a decorated striker, and I pictured him piecing him up. And throughout his last few fights, he's showed improved grappling. So I knew that was going to be a factor for the 9-0 Rosenstruck, who clearly you got a guy who's fought over 60 professional fights over the guy who's fighting in his 10th professional fight. I was like, yo, he's going to piece this man up. And he pretty much was out striking him, taking him down, holding him down, landing some damage for pretty much all of the rounds. Maybe in the third and the fourth, Rosenstruck may have tucked those rounds, but it would have been 3-2. And then with like 4 seconds left in the fight, Rosenstruck he charges at him with a combination, hits him with a left, and then just catches him with this nasty right hook. And it catches Alistair Overeem in the face, and it just rips open like his lip, like just shreds his fucking lip wide the fuck open. The ref just runs in and just stops the fight. It's a nasty cut. Rosenstruck wins. He was ranked 14, fighting the number 6th ranked fighter. And yeah, it was a phenomenal ending for that fight. I like that the heavyweights are starting to do more than just throw power punches. I mean that's ultimately all Rosenstruck does, and that's how he's winning. But he's seeing now, definitely with how much Overeem was taking him down. If he wants to fight a Stipe Miocic, who simply, when Francis Ngannou was just that power puncher, he fought Francis Ngannou and just tuck him down, tired him out. There's nothing he could do. So they're now seeing that they have to put that aspect in there, because you can't hang with a Stipe. You're definitely not going to fight a Daniel Cormier, Olympic wrestler Daniel Cormier, if you don't have any grappling. That doesn't make any sense. That's just not a smart move. I mean, I think they paid Derek Lewis like $4 million to fight Daniel Cormier that last time, so maybe that was a smart move, because that's probably easily the most money he's made in his entire career. Like, added up over time, he wouldn't have made probably $1 million to that point. You know? So that's the only time it makes sense. You know you're going to get your ass beat because you don't have any ground. You don't have any grappling. And they are Olympic grapplers. That's just how they're going to tire you out. If you've never grappled with people, like when I grapple, when I look at people who are like, they got colored belts, and they're rolling with people who are white belts, they don't even break a sweat, and it looks like they're moving in slow motion, while the person they're rolling with is like fighting for their life almost. So that's what it is. If you don't have that like to those levels, if you're not a good grappler at all, you don't really have that base against an Olympic wrestler, they're going to be looking like they're moving in slow motion while you're fighting for your life, just getting dominated. And that's what's going to happen to Rosenstruck, and if he doesn't improve very quickly here. They're trying to move him up to fight Francis Ngannou next, and Francis is pretty much waiting to fight for the title. So if let's say he does go and knock out Francis, who isn't going to try to take him to the ground, that's not Francis's game. He's got a submission victory, but he's looking to knock you out. They're both looking to do the same thing in there, and so whoever wins that fight, if they make that, is going to fight for the title next. You better be prepared to grapple, because you're either facing fucking Daniel Cormier or Stipe Miocic, who are both phenomenal wrestlers. So it's almost pointless unless they drastically can improve their entire grappling game. yeah, I guess there's no point. We know how the division's going to go. Stipe is going to run that shit. I don't know if Stipe is going to beat Cormier in the trilogy, but after that, Cormier is going to retire regardless, and then Stipe is just going to come back and be the king of the division. I don't see anybody else beating Stipe at this point in the function. Definitely not. Yeah, there's nobody. Going to Vegas next week. Going to Las Vegas next week. The city of Vegas. So, I didn't do too much on my birthday. So you know how, like, for my wife started it really. That's the inspiration, where she likes to do experiences for people's birthdays or gifts that she gives people. She likes to do experiences. And so that's why we went to, like, Denver and did the Backstreet Boys and Chappelle's show for her birthday. My experience is the UFC 245. I'm going to go see 3 championship fights. The main event is Colby Covington challenging champion Kamaru Usman for the welterweight championship, 170 pounds. That's going to be a great fight. They're pretty equally matched in a lot of ways, but then there is so much, their styles are like so similar, but then they're like just certain things where they're completely different. And I think this is going to be a phenomenal fight. I think it will go all 4 rounds, honestly. I mean, all 5 rounds, honestly. And I think Colby Covington will outstrike Usman. I think he'll shut down a lot of his game with his striking, and then he'll be able to get the takedowns and just beat him up from that point. I think it will go all 5 rounds. That's my prediction for the main event. Then you got Max Holloway taking on Alexander Volkanovski. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the co-main or the first title fight, but definitely got Max Holloway coming in there. He's got the length. He's got the experience. He's on a tear. He's on a tear at 145 pounds. He's the king, probably the best 145. He's the best 145-pound fighter of all time, is what a lot of people say about him. So I don't really see, with the size difference of Max Holloway and Volkanovski, I really don't see this being too different than everyone else that's challenged Max Holloway recently. Like, Volkanovski has power, yes, but I think you're going to need someone to have the size of a Dustin Poirier to really even damage Max Holloway. But, like, even if you, like, I remember I heard Khabib say that, like, he thought that Holloway beat Poirier. He thought Holloway won that fight. So I went and watched the fight again, and I'm like, I see where he's coming from. When I watched it again, because when you're watching it live and you're just watching, like, Max take these huge, like, punches and him, like, flying back, and you see the damage from the knee, those big strikes stick out in your head, and that's why Poirier won that fight. But if you just watch it, like, there's just a lot of moments throughout that fight, like long stretches, where Holloway's just piecing him up with strikes, and he's tiring him out, beating the shit out of Poirier, and then out of nowhere, like, Poirier would, like, throw, like, a lucky punch that would just catch Holloway. And those are the ones we remember, but, like, throughout most of the fight, Holloway was beating the shit out of him, piecing this man up. But he was landing Poirier was landing bigger shots, but Holloway was, like, getting off the most offense and, like, fighting his fight for the most part. So I understood when I watched it again, I understand where Khabib was coming from there, where it was either a draw or Holloway won that, because he did way more in that fight. But I could definitely see a draw or Holloway. I definitely see it the other way. So that's why I even still hear Holloway talking about how he wants to go back to 155 and eventually fight Khabib. And I think he has a case to do that, because he pretty much didn't lose the interim title fight. I don't think he lost. Third title fight is champion Amanda Nunes taking on Jermaine Durandamy. Jermaine Durandamy is a decorated kickboxer, but she doesn't really and she's a fighter from Holland. Shout out to the Netherlands. And I don't know. I think she could win the fight. She's a lot taller. She's got like the reach advantage, and she could. She's got the kickboxing background. She's got the skills to do it, but she hasn't really like let go with her striking in fights like she should. And if she does this Saturday live in front of my face, your boy Jermaine, I think she can upset the world. I'm just gonna pick her. I mean, I'm gonna pick Jermaine Durandamy to win this fight, even though Amanda Nunes looks pretty unstoppable, to be honest. But I'm just gonna say Jermaine Durandamy, and if she wins, you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Jose Aldo is moving down to 135 pounds. He looks pretty unhealthy. Been seeing some photos of him. He looks like he's dying. Looks like walking dead. And he's moving down to 135 pounds. A lot of backlash from people because he has always fought at 145 pounds, and he's always struggled to make that weight. And then he's decided to fight a lower weight class. Even though he was rumored to, for years, he was openly talking about moving up and fighting at 155 pounds because he was always having so much trouble making 145. Now he's fighting at 135, and hopefully he's not too depleted. Hopefully he doesn't suffer like another devastating 13-second knockout. I hope he goes out. He's fighting Marlon Moraes, who last fought Henry Cejudo in Chicago, and that was a phenomenal fight. Henry Cejudo looked like a goddamn superhero, and then like an action hero in that motherfucking. Yeah, he looked like an action hero on some like Street Fighter Guile shit. He looked like a fucking action hero, and he beat Marlon Moraes. And now Jose's fighting Marlon in his first fight at 135, and I hope he doesn't get fucking devastatedly KO'd because of dehydration and yada, yada, yada. Let's hope Jose wins that fight. And I would like to see him challenge Cejudo. I'd like to see Cejudo versus Jose. That'd be pretty dope. I get to see the legend Jose Aldo. 145-pound king Jose Aldo, who was the king of the 145-pound division until he ran into Conor McGregor. I get to see that legend fight. I also get to see the legend Uriah Faber is fighting Peter Yan. And just for that fight, I counted out Uriah Faber in his return fight against Ricky Simone. I counted him out, and he knocked him out first round. And I'm not going to count him out here. He's a veteran. He's been stepping his game up. He's improved. Doing a lot of grappling competitions. He's stepped his striking up. As I said, he got the first round knockout last fight. I would say I'm going to go for the legend Uriah Faber to pull it out in this one. In the main event of the prelims, you got Jeff Neal taking on Mike Perry. And I'm thinking Mike Perry's going to pull it out. Mike Perry's the white guy who says nigga all the time. And I recently heard that what he did was he took one of those like 23andMe DNA tests and found out that he was like 0 point some percent African. So at that point he just started dropping nigga this, nigga that. And at that point I'm like, well, I can't hate because at what percentage does he need in order to say nigga? He's got something in there. So at that point, still nigga. So I think Mike Perry is going to win this fight. I think he beat Vicente Luque in his last fight where his nose got fucked up pretty bad. He somehow lost to the judges, but when I watched the fight, I'm like, dude, this man got robbed. And then I looked it up, and a bunch of other fighters felt that way too. They all posted like, yo, Mike Perry won that fight. And I think he's going to beat Jeff Neal. I think Jeff Neal is a little too conservative for a wild man like Mike Perry. So I got Mike Perry doing that. And that's pretty much going to be my trip. Hype about, I'm going to get there on Friday. I was looking up things I should know about Las Vegas. I see niggas getting arrested, like in cuffs for jaywalking. That's some real shit. Niggas get arrested for jaywalking. I seen that niggas notoriously sell bottles of water where they just like they take like empty bottles out of trash cans, fill them up in the gas stations, and then sell them on the side of the streets. That's a thing. They're saying niggas was like, never tell the cab driver that this is your first time there or some shit like that. You know, just be on some nonsense. I don't know. I don't plan to do too much. Marijuana's legal, so I'm just kick it. Maybe eat some edibles, listen to some tunes. I might try to hit the ceremonial weigh-ins for this UFC thing, but like, I don't know. It depends. I didn't know that like when I'm looking at the map from where my Airbnb is, I thought like, oh, I could just walk to the T-Mobile Arena or wherever they're doing the weigh-ins or whatever, probably at the MGM Grand or some shit. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm right there. But apparently, like, this shit is like actually like miles long, and it would take like forever to walk. Like, you gotta like walk up these like bridges or some shit. I don't know. You people have probably been there. I don't know too much about it, but we'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Most likely just kick it, eat edibles, and call it a day. Come fly my ass back to Milwaukee. That's probably what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. All right? I'm gonna leave y'all with that. At some point here, we're gonna maybe have an interview with my friend Kat. Thought we were gonna do it this week, but Kat never got back to me, and she was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it. Like, when do you want to do it?" I was like, "When are you free, Kat?" And then I haven't heard from Kat since. So maybe not next week, because I'm gonna be in Las Vegas, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna do the podcast or when I'm gonna do the podcast. Maybe just wait until I get back to Milwaukee. Or maybe, yeah, I could just wait until I get back from Milwaukee. Because, I mean, last time I went to Anaheim, you know, that whole fight broke out to the side of me. So, who knows, something interesting like that might not happen. And then I got something to report. So, if you guys want to follow the podcast on Twitter, that handle is at Babylon5Pod. If you want to follow your boy's personal account, it's at My Name's Jermaine. You can email your boy at babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow the podcast at babylon5.podbean.com. And you can listen to it on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And you can play some video games with your boy on Xbox. Add me at SauceBoss414. And that's the episode for the week, episode 16. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Babylon 5 podcast, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.